Welcome to Super Talk, the podcast that scratches your superhero itch. Just two suburban dads nerding out over superhero stuff on the small screen and the big. Buckle up, people. Enjoy the ride. Okay, YouTube. How are you? We're going to get started here, episode 88. This is our filler episode.
We'll call it a filler
We'll call it a filler episode. And 3.
Welcome to Super Talk, the weekly podcast dedicated to news and reviews of comic book media on the big and small screen. This is episode number 88. I'm your host, Brian Professor Pettis, and with me, as always, is my illustrious co-host, Titanium Tony Estrella Titanium.
Checking in, co-host checking in. I'm here.
Yeah, we're
here, brother. Yeah, exciting weekend.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, fall is here, so that's always good. So.
Yeah, I love this weather. Don't you love this weather?
Autumn is awesome, man. It's great when the humidity leaves and the leaves start falling and
football.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's great. All right, well, let's get the show started. And before we get started, we always like to thank the listeners that bring the show to you. And those are our patrons. Patreon.com/supertalk is how you become a member of the patron. So what does that mean? Well, you donate $1 every time we come out with an episode, and it's a way to give back to the show that's giving to you. Hey, you know what? Everything that we do does cost money, and for our listeners to help support the show and help us keep doing what we do because we love doing it for you, that's great. So if you want to become a member, patreon.com/supertalk is how you do that.
Yeah, thanks to those that subscribe, and thanks for you guys that are thinking about...
We couldn't or wouldn't do this without the listening audience, that's for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And so let's jump right in the review section. We did have a new episode 6 of SheHulk came out this past week. As you and I kind of briefly discussed prior to the show, filler episode, right?
Kind of a filler episode. Very sitcom-ish, very standalone. It was definitely standalone. I don't think it moved the story any further except for the very end. But, very sitcom type of episode that you see in a lot of sitcoms. So, yeah, standalone wedding episode, right?
Yeah.
And there was actually 2 storylines. There was an A and a B storyline.
Kind of. Weird, yeah, right? It was a little strange. And look, I think we're both very disappointed because we were hopeful that this was going to be the Daredevil episode. I guess
everybody was disappointed.
Yeah.
The teaser after last episode, episode 5, with the helmet, and then they come up with this. I think everybody was kind of disappointed.
Well, and I think, the way I look at it is, well, now we're 1 week closer to Daredevil, I guess. And I don't know if that's going to be this week's episode. I haven't seen a preview for this week at all. So I don't know, but I'm hopeful that happens. And
Tons of rumors.
I'm looking forward to that.
Tons.
But
he's in 3 episodes. He's in 1 episode. The Hulk is coming. Banner's coming back for the last episode. There's so many rumors.
I do believe he is coming back because the actress who plays Titania mentioned that she had some on-screen scenes with Mark Ruffalo, and we haven't seen any of those.
Oh, great!
So I do believe he does come back, which again leads us to believe we might find out where he went and why he went there.
That's
and
the
all
big
kinds of other
question.
stuff.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah. So maybe, and it's possible that is where this show is moving. But to your point, this one was very self-contained. Had a specific plot. Jennifer had been invited to be a bridesmaid in a wedding of one of her friends from high school, and I'll say friend very loosely because this is one of those people that from high school that 10 years later invite people from high school to be in their wedding, but they really were never really close friends. You can kind of tell they were never really tight.
Yeah,
and they
not in their adult life.
And had a very interesting relationship or weird relationship, but she's a bridesmaid and she's excited to wear one of the new dresses that the what broker? What's the name of the costume guy? What's his name? Dip broker.
The drip
broker. Yeah.
Yeah, but the costume guy, the guy that does that, his name's Luke. I don't know if he's the drip broker, but the drip broker is Alonzo, the guy that knows the guy. Alonzo's his guy.
Knows Luke. Well, Luke made a dress for her, and she was really excited to wear it when she shows up for the wedding. She shows up as SheHulk, and these are the scenes we've seen from the trailers where everybody's admiring how hot she looks in this dress and everything. Her booty looks so good and all this other stuff. And the bride comes out and says, hey, you know what? I didn't expect you to come here like this. You know, you're stealing all of my thunder. Can you just be Just Jen for this episode? And I think the name of the episode was Just Jen.
Yeah.
And so she has to now just be Jennifer during the whole thing. Again, most of this really centers around the wedding. Her cousin is DJing the wedding, and
Do you remember what his name is? It was hilarious. It was like Chad Hulk or something. The Chad DJ Hulk.
Oh yeah, his DJ name I can't remember.
Oh, it's hilarious. I'll put it up on the screen for YouTube.
But again, most of the episode centered around the wedding, and they were making her do all these things that she didn't want to do, and Titania ends up showing up. How she got an invite, I have no idea, but the bride seemed to be happy that she was there. And Jennifer confronts her, hey, you're just here, to ruin the wedding. You're just here to show me up. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, of course,
right.
In the reception, Titania confronts her, knocks her across the room. She's like, drunk because she's been drinking the whole reception. And she finally turns into She-Hulk and basically whips her ass again, breaks her teeth and everything else. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, her veneers or something.
Yeah,
breaks her veneers.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But I think the one good part of this episode was her friend Nikki and the other lawyer. I can't remember what her name was. They kind of struck up a bit of a friendship, but they found this website called the Intelligencia, and there was all these posts on this website about kill She-Hulk. How do we kill her? How do we destroy her? How do we stop her? And she was like, wow,
a lot of hate.
This is like a anti-She-Hulk website. What's going on here? And so they were concerned, and she told Jennifer this as much. Said, hey, there's this website out there of people that are out to get you, and you got to be careful, and all this other stuff. And then the end scene of the show this week, we see somebody on the website getting a message from somebody whose code name is Hulk King. So we don't know who that is. And then we see him working with we see him holding the old syringe that they had tried to use to steal, that the Wrecking Crew tried to steal her blood with, and with a bent needle, and he's now fashioning a new syringe with like this titanium needle, really big and long needle that he can hopefully penetrate her skin with. So there's a lot of theories around what's going on here, like who that person is. Yeah,
like what did he mean by is the next phase to the operation? Is it in progress? And could that be the guy that was kind of flirting with her, hitting on her?
The one she had a blind date with?
Yeah. Well, no. The guy that she met at the wedding. That guy. Was coming on to her.
People are thinking that he might be involved?
He might be involved, like he's, part of getting to know Jen instead of She-Hulk, to get close to her so that he can get her blood.
And then there's some theories that the one guy she went on one of those blind dates with that was asking her about her powers, and when did she get them? Does she have any other powers? That and remember we saw him during the trial episode. There's some theories that he might be that guy, that he's kind of working with the Intelligencia to kind of try to, and then there's the grand theory that we're now going to get the leader is going to be the big villain, or be revealed as the villain of this show, because he is going to be coming back in the Captain America movie.
Interesting.
So they're thinking, well, the leader is the one who's behind all of this.
Maybe that could be the tie-in.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because he's going to be in Captain America.
Yeah, they've already announced that he's going to be the villain in that movie.
Oh, wow.
So who knows? But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so at least there was some kind of plot development going on in the show.
What do you think about the whole Mr. Immortal kind of sidetrack? His ex-wives coming after him, Mr. Immortal.
Yeah, that was the other, you mentioned.
He's a mutant, right?
Yeah, I think in the comics he is, but that was the other side story that Nikki and the other lawyer were defending this guy named Mr. Immortal, and he basically can't die. He goes, well, I actually do die, but only temporarily, and then I come back. And he had married, 9 women?
Yeah, like 12 or something.
Had relationships, some short relationships, some long marriages. He had a child with one of them. They were all suing him because basically when he got tired of being with them, he would kill himself and then move on to the next person.
To get out of the marriage.
Yeah, that was it.
It was bizarre.
It was funny. There was side comedy, like you said, a sitcom type of thing. But, I don't know how much, if we're reading
a lot of people are reading into that, but I don't see there being anything.
I think it is what it is. It's face value stuff, right?
And that website wasn't just about She-Hulk, though. There was a lot of stuff on it, like inside superhero stuff. But when they clicked on the She-Hulk link to All About She-Hulk, all that hate stuff came up. I think that's interesting. I think that's going to be a big key. And who is Hulk King?
Hulk King? Yeah, I think it's one of those three people, right? I think it my guess is it's the leader. That's who that is, right? But I think that guy that she went on that blind date with is involved somehow. Yeah, he seemed
or that guy from the wedding that was like hitting on her, trying to get close to her. Yeah, it'd be, again, filler episode. Not my favorite episode by far. I hope
I would venture to say my least favorite episode so far.
You know what? Between that one and the one before that, at least the one
trial,
before that, the trial one.
Yeah,
both about even for me. But I tell you what, when
my expectations of this show are very different, though. I don't have these expectations of it being good. So when it's entertaining, and again, it's 26 minutes or whatever it is, it's like, it's all right.
Let me ask you this: do you like it? Do you like it more than Miss Marvel?
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
A million miles better than Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, I agree.
I would, if I had seen both series and they said, okay, you'd only watch one again, which one would you watch? It'd be She-Hulk in a millisecond.
Of course.
But
agree.
Yeah. So, hopefully, again, we only have 3 episodes left, so it seems to me that, Daredevil's going to be in one of them. We know that for sure. And I think we're going to get some conclusions to maybe some of the plot points. But hopefully these next 3 are going to be really good.
I think it'll bounce once Daredevil is on it. I think it'll be a huge spike. I think it'll really start to
everybody's looking forward to that.
Of course. Yeah. Big disappointment this episode. That's probably why it was.
Yeah.
But and also if they bring back the Hulk too, that would be pretty big if they brought back Banner.
Well, we know, I think the one other kind of sequence of scenes that we haven't seen yet, we know there's another episode with the Abomination where she ends up going to his mountain retreat.
Yeah.
And, there's all these other powered individuals
right. We haven't
there. We haven't
seen
that episode yet, too. So whether that's this one that's coming up or the next one, I don't know. But, we'll kind of see.
Emil Oblonsky.
Yeah. So,
cool.
All right,
great.
Well, let's move on to some of the news. I got a few things, and one of the things I want to announce in the news first is Titanium has been working feverishly on identifying a location for our next live episode, which we plan to do for our 100th episode, right around Christmas. So keep that in mind. It will be right around the Christmas time, which in some ways will be good. Everybody will be home. The kids will be home from college. It'll be hopefully on a day when everybody's not working and we're working on it. And he's got a location kind of scouted, and he's working kind of to arrange that. So we don't have anything to announce yet.
As soon as we nail that down, we will be announcing it and promoting it heavily.
Absolutely.
We'd love to see everybody come out.
Yeah, our
It'll
live
be
shows
local here in Virginia.
Yeah, our live shows have been great, so we're really looking forward to doing another one. Another piece of news. So you had a few things you want to talk about today. So something about Black Panther. So.
Yeah, rumored. All these are rumored, obviously.
No confirmations.
No confirmations, but rumor is that we're going to get 2 end credit scenes in Wakanda Forever. The Black Panther Wakanda Forever. 2 end credit scenes, which would be huge. That would be great. And that tells me that they're leading into Ant-Man Quantumania. They're leading into
Phase 5.
Phase 5.
Right.
And I think those 2 end credit scenes will be pivotal in setting that up, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, so we'll get 2 end credit scenes. You would think
once
that
that's
one
confirmed,
of them,
we'll start speculating what they are.
One of them would likely be related to Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania or Loki. And possibly the other one related to Secret Invasion, which we know is coming out shortly after that. That movie hits the theaters in the spring. So, so I got 2 questions for you. Are we going to get another Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer before the movie drops in November?
Yes.
When do you think that's going to be?
Soon.
Okay. So sometime in the next... You think... Before it's a month out, maybe?
I think it will be sometime before October 15th.
So mid-October.
So early October.
Okay.
How about that?
All right. And the other question I have for you...
And the only reason I say that is because a lot of that's been leaked already, what they showed at D23, which is brilliant. It looks great, what they did show.
So you think they're just fine-tuning it for...
I think they're fine-tuning it for a
And they're going to ramp up the promotion for this, right?
I think we'll get one more trailer I really do. And the Empire, that magazine came out with some really cool stills and new pictures of Wakanda Forever. A great shot of Namor, which he looks spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks so good in this. I'm starting to get hyped for this movie big time.
So the other question I wanted to ask you is, do you think we will have a trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania when we go to see Black Panther in the theaters?
No.
Really?
Yeah. No, I don't.
You don't think that they'll release that trailer?
Because it would make sense to do that. And typically, lately, we've been disappointed.
It would make way too much sense for Marvel to do that.
That's what people would assume, and it would make sense to do that. But the way Marvel has been playing these trailers lately, they've been pushing them. We're not getting them till the very last minute. I don't think we're going to get it.
Yeah, because you're right. Because we fully expected that we would get at least a Thor: Love and Thunder teaser when Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness came to theaters.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
No.
We're like, what's taking so long?
Right.
So what your theory is, we probably will likely not get a trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp until after the holidays.
After the holidays, yes.
Maybe Super Bowl timeframe.
Oh, that'd be good.
Well, because the movie comes out in March, right?
That would make sense.
Yeah.
I would say Super Bowl time. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Now, it would be smart to take some of Black Adam's Thunder and launch that trailer right the same weekend.
You know what? That would be when I think they would do the new
Black Panther
trailer. For when Black Adam comes out on the 17th of October or whatever.
As far as marketing chest, that would be a great move. You know, King to 3, you know.
Yeah, you go to the theater to see Black Adam and you get a Black Panther trailer.
Strong.
Yeah.
That would be strong. That's a statement.
All right. And you had some other news about our She-Hulk character, right?
Yeah, supposedly rumor is that she's going to be in Captain America 4, which would be cool. Now, what you just said ties into that. If the leader...
That would make a lot of sense.
...is going to be the Hulk King, the leader, and they introduce the leader in She-Hulk, and we know he's in that.
We already got confirmation.
He's in
the actor's coming back to portray the leader character he portrayed in the Incredible Hulk movie.
Right.
So that starred Edward Norton, that version of the Incredible Hulk. He's coming back to play that character, and it's been confirmed he is going to be the villain or one of the main villains in the Captain America New World Order movie. But your confirmation, the rumor now is that She-Hulk will be back in that movie.
Yes.
And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, we've been promised this so often.
Yeah.
That, hey, we're going to introduce characters and give you characters in these Disney Plus shows that will branch out and move into major motion pictures. Now, we know that that's happening with Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel,
right?
You know, or Spectrum or whatever they're calling her. We got Spectrum and Photon, whatever they're going to call her. Right. Tiana Paris's character. We know that she's going to be in the Marvels movie, and we know Ms. Marvel's going to be in the Marvels movie, so we know that's happening. We've been promised this with other characters, and so it would make a ton of sense. And I think having She-Hulk in the MCU is great.
Yeah.
And it allows Mark Ruffalo to kind of back off a little bit, do some other things. And again, there's been rumors about, a World War Hulk project that's happening. And so then you can kind of separate the storylines, but you can have a female, strong character on a superhero team. And She-Hulk has been on the Avengers. She's been in the Fantastic Four. I mean, she's a huge character in the Marvel Comics. And so I think it's great.
Not the West Coast Avengers, but the Avengers?
Regular Avengers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Awesome.
It'll be great.
What a great character. I mean, it's a great character. The show is silly, and it's a comedy, and it's sitcom-ish, but still, don't take away from the actress that's playing She-Hulk and the character itself. I'd love to see
Well, we got a lot of She-Hulk in the first episode when it was her... testing her powers and all those other things.
Which, by the way, was the best episode
so far. But I do believe we're going to get a lot more of She-Hulk in these last 3 episodes, just simply because they want to showcase what she can do.
Yeah,
and there's going to be some conflicts where she does have to use her powers, right? So great. So I'm really excited about that. We did get a little bit of a disappointing confirmation. So the director of the Werewolf by Night series, by the way, that comes out, October 7th, I believe?
October 7th.
Yeah, it comes out on Disney Plus, a
and
Werewolf by Night special.
Some media insiders have already seen it.
Yeah, they released it to, and for some reason we didn't get our invitation.
Oh, did I tell you this?
Yeah.
I got news for you.
What's that?
Good news.
What's that?
I reached out to several PR arms of Disney. Several. Well, I think it was 4 emails that I found, and I did a lot of digging. And I reached out. I wrote this paragraph.
Well, you saw I've done that before. I reached out to the guy who owns PR for Marvel Studios and never heard back from him.
I reached out to a bunch of Disney, and I heard back from them. And we're added to some list, some media list, where they're going to start emailing us information on upcoming shows and Disney stuff, Disney-related stuff.
You got confirmation that that's
happening
now.
And I got one email already, but it was about, what are the singing kids? What are those? The Asian group, the BTS or BST or
BTS.
Is it BTS?
Yes.
Oh, I nailed it.
Nailed it.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
That I got information about that and a whole list of what the show is about.
They're doing a show on Disney Plus or something.
Yeah. So that's already started.
Black butter.
Okay, that scares me that you know that.
That's a good song.
Is it? I don't know anything about that group, but
it's a catchy tune.
I got a whole media.
Okay, that's great news.
It is.
So maybe we will start getting our invitations to do this, but some of the industry insiders have been given access to Werewolf by Night special. They got their
They're going nuts.
They got their first impressions out there.
Yeah.
I purposely not listened to nor viewed any of them because I don't want to know what their first impressions are. Usually they say, I liked it, it was scary, it was this, it was that, it was very different than anything Marvel's ever done, but they can't give any details. And I want to form my own opinion.
Yeah.
So,
okay, well, from what I heard, the one thing that I did watch and read about it, they were off the charts excited. And this guy is kind of a negative Nelly. He's always very skeptical of stuff. And he goes, you're not going to believe, but I love this.
So the good news is, I think, and this is what the director confirmed, this is a self-contained project.
Yes.
They purposely said, we're going to make something that is a special presentation, and it's self-contained.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit into anything else. We're not looking to make sure it ties into some future movie or future television show. It is self-contained. And, we're not doing anything special. So the question was asked of the director, hey, what about, Moon Knight and Blade? Should we expect to see these cameos in this special? And they're like, look, it was it's an hour-long special. Number one, we didn't have time to do all this stuff, but we kind of talked about it, maybe a Blade thing, but and frankly, we wanted it to be self-contained. We wanted it to be a special that was focused on this story that we're telling. And again, if you've seen the trailer, it's very Twilight Zone, specific,
old school,
Alfred Hitchcock, the type of hour-long episode of a story they're trying to tell.
Christopher Lee type, the Wax Museum type of feel.
And they didn't want to distract from that. Yeah. So he did confirm, though, we should not expect to see Blade or Moon Knight in this special, but we do see in the trailer a very small, quick clip of Man-Thing, right? So hopefully we're getting that. But anyway, we'll kind of figure out what's happening there. But again, a little disappointment, but at the same time,
still looking forward to it.
Yeah, and Marvel did kind of loosely confirm, look, we're going to start seeing more monsters and horror and kind of the supernatural stuff. He said, we are venturing in that direction, which, again, you and I have talked about this. That leads us into a Midnight Suns movie or something. I mean, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
right?
that'd be awesome.
Awesome. You mentioned Tina Huerta was in Empire Magazine, right?
Yeah.
And he was asked a bunch of questions in Empire Magazine. Again, this is... Empire Magazine always seems to interview an actor or actress in an upcoming Marvel movie. They put them on the cover. And one of the things he did confirm was that Namor is a mutant. And so this will be the second, confirmed mutant we've gotten from Marvel. But he did say, Namor is a mutant. So
was he pulling that out of his ass, or do you think he had authorization?
I bet you he was told that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet you know how tight-lipped Marvel actors are, because they're told what they can and cannot say. So I think he was either authorized to say it or he was told that, and he's just repeating it. So. Yeah, I don't think. Why would he make that up? I mean,
because he's probably going off of what Namor was in the comics.
Maybe, but I don't know if he's that much of a seamhead, whatever that he,
huge reveal.
Yeah,
I think it's awesome. Yeah,
and it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah,
especially because they can call him. First of all, they can say mutant. Second of all, they can call him a mutant in this because he's not affiliated with any of those other products, any of the Fox, right? Any of the Fox shows and films. So,
I believe Namor was owned by Universal Studios, very similar to what they own the rights to the Hulk.
Right.
I think they own Namor as well, and I think Marvel kind of figured out a way to get him back somehow, some way. But and Kevin Feige actually came out, and I think whether it was in the same magazine or not, but he came out and said, "Oh, we almost teased Namor at the end of the original Black Panther movie."
Wow.
He said that was originally one of our planned post-credit scenes was to tease Namor. And way back when Black Panther came out in 2019, when did that come out? 2018, something like that. Way back then, and he said we were gonna do that. And I was like, oh wow, that's pretty revealing. Yeah. So he's been in their plans for some time now.
Awesome.
Right?
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, this movie will be great. Just for that, I think it's going to be great. We got some new casting rumors, and you know what, Marvel? I'm going to tell you this. These casting rumors will continue until you put them all to bed and just make a casting announcement, right? So what's happening now is more and more actors and actresses are being linked to these Fantastic Four roles. And there's a new one that came out this week, and whether there's any truth to it or, what I'll say is take all of these with a grain of salt because, unless it comes from Marvel, you can't trust it. But the latest one that came out, number one, it makes a ton of sense. Mm-hmm. Number two, smoke show.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? In Baywatch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Alexandra Daddario has now been linked to the Sue Storm role, and her brother, Matthew, who's also an actor, has been linked to the Johnny Storm role. Now, whether this is fan casting or somebody's just pulling stuff out of their ass, who knows? But, I mean, again, these are coming from sources that have gotten things right in the past, but then gotten things wrong at the same time. So you just don't know. But look, it would, I think, be pretty cool to cast a real-life brother and sister
to play brother and sister
in a brother-sister role in the movies.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's a smoke show.
Oh my God! Oh my! She is probably same level hot Jessica Alba type of hot.
I would say. A very modern version of Jessica Alba. And Jessica Alba was
36.
And again, that's the criticism of this rumor has been, well, she's not blonde. She's a brunette. And we're like, well, Jessica Alba's a brunette.
Right.
She happened to be blonde in the movie. She dyed her hair blonde for the role. So you can make it happen. I mean, don't call that a problem. Yeah. Heck, you can put a terrible wig on her like you did in the Fantastic Four revival movie. Oh my God, that was horrible.
That was awful.
One scene she had a wig, and one scene she didn't.
She had brown hair one scene, and then blonde hair the next scene. It was awful.
It was horrible.
The reshoots were so inconsistent.
What's her name? Mara? Kate Mara?
She's a cute actress, but that movie was bad.
Yeah, but So
look at Jason Momoa, right? He plays Aquaman. Aquaman in the comics was a blonde-haired, fair-haired, fair-skinned guy. And Jason Momoa comes in at this ethnic-looking, dark hair with goatee, killed it.
Yeah, and I think what they did was they had some like bleach blonde highlights in his hair to kind of show that he's weathered.
Weathered, right?
And
sun highlights,
right? But I thought it was great. You can make her a blonde. I mean, and she probably would look pretty good as a blonde.
She's a smoke show.
So anyway, whether there's any truth to this or not, we don't know. All I'll say is, if it happens, I'd be completely happy. I think she'd make a great Invisible Woman.
Yeah.
But until Marvel comes out and gives us anything, these rumors will continue to happen. So
the only thing we do know for sure is they nailed down Sherman, the director
and the writers,
and the two writers. Now the two writers are kind of obscure unknowns. I think they had a big hit with an indie film that they wrote together, which kind of makes me nervous. Like, these guys aren't seasoned, savvy veterans in this field. It could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing.
Kevin Feige, he's producing this movie. he will be heavily involved in this movie. Heavily. He is heavily involved and heavily invested in the success of this movie. He's like, this is the first family Marvel. We got to get it right.
Yeah.
So these writers may be new. He will be shepherding a lot of what's going on there. The script will not be bad. I mean, they will figure this out.
But don't you think they would want to wait till the director is nailed down and the writers are nailed down before they even think about starting to cast?
Well, so again, I think that's why a lot of these casting rumors have been debunked, or at least, theoretically debunked, is because they're like, why would you do it before you have a director and writers in place?
Yeah.
I think Kevin Feige's always looking for good actors and actresses to put in their movies, and he's probably got a slate of them that he's looking to place. And if they fit the roles for the movies that they have, then great. I agree with you. When Marvel officially announced the writing team, they did also say the director and the writers are now working on casting the film. Yeah. So they did say that, so it makes more sense, but he may say, hey, look, here's the actors and actresses we've already talked to. They've expressed interest, and, we got to pick the right ones.
Right.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
Good. All right, we're close.
Yeah. And another rumor, so this is kind of an interesting one. So we heard this several months ago that Jon Bernthal would be returning to the MCU as the Punisher at some point in time. We didn't know exactly when that would be. And we got some further confirmation, and this is really kind of pictures from the set and people seeing him around and kind of, people that are friends with him in real life, that he is coming back to cameo. I believe there's a brief cameo in the Echo series, but he will definitely be in Daredevil Born Again. And one of the, I'd say, a disappointing side of this is another Netflix character that was supposed to return.
Right.
Was Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones.
Yeah. And
I think the theory now is that she had a conflict with the Daredevil Born Again schedule and the Echo schedule. She wasn't going to be able to do it. So that's when they decided to bring Jon Bernthal in to kind of be that cameo. So, look, I think he nailed that role. I think he's a perfect Punisher.
Awesome.
I can't wait to see him again. He fits into the storyline. He worked well with the characters and the actors and the actresses. I mean, if you go back and watch Daredevil Season 2 on it's now on Disney+. Go back and watch Daredevil Season 2 on Disney+. That whole season with the Punisher was off the charts good. It was so good.
Yeah.
Him and the Kingpin in prison together and all. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see him come back, but I wholeheartedly believe that Daredevil Born Again series is going to have a lot of people in it that are returning and a lot of people that are new. 18 episodes. 18 episodes.
Yeah.
So you got to put...
They got to start filming now, and they're going to be filming for like 2 years.
I think they said they're starting filming early next year, right?
Wow.
So, yeah. We're really excited for that, and I'm really happy. All right, well, let's move on to the topic of the week this week, brought to us by our friends over at Studio GG Studios, home of the man band Corn on the Cob.
Corn on the juicy kernels when it hits your lips. Corn on the Cob.
Thanks very much, Studio G, for all your support. Please check them out. We always link their page in our show notes. Go check out their...
Go watch a video and watch a commercial or two. Let them get paid.
Exactly. So our topic of the week this week, I wanted to talk about the future of the X-Men in the MCU. We've talked about this. One of the big disappointments of D23, we got no announcements about mutants, no announcements about the future of the mutants in the MCU. We know Marvel's got plans that they're going to do something with them. Theories now are that when we get through Phase 5 and Phase 6, that Phase 7 is going to be the mutant phase, and that's going to be all focused. Well, we did get a story this week. So Screen Geek came out, and they were able to report that the Marvel has decided they're going to base their X-Men team or the X-Men movie that they are going to be developing on the Joss Whedon run. Yes, that Joss Whedon. So the Joss Whedon who directed The Avengers, who directed Avengers Age of Ultron, very heavily involved, and unfortunately directed the Justice League after Zack Snyder had to leave.
Well, did he direct? He didn't really.
Well, he redid it to get it in the theaters.
He was brought in as special counsel at the last minute and was mandated by Warner Brothers to make some serious cuts and edits, and to his defense, he did the best he could with the situation.
Yeah, look, the original Avengers movie was fantastic, and he was really the one who kind of brought that to the big screen. So give him a lot of credit there. But Joss Whedon is a prolific comic book writer. As a matter of fact, I have one of the issues right here of the Astonishing X-Men. He had a run back in the 90s, in the 2000s. It was like 2004 to 2008. I can't remember the time frame exactly, but the Astonishing X-Men series, they're basing the movie on his run in the comics. And I'm going to talk about why that's such a great idea. So what we've seen from Fox in the past, we had the original X-Men movies, which was kind of our favorite, best characters, kind of put them on a team together, loosely kind of tied, and we took we got Cyclops and Jean Grey and the Beast and Wolverine and Rogue. We had a bunch of other things. So that was the original, and then we had the remake, which was the James McAvoy version of the X-Men. But the team itself was similar across both of those runs in the movies. And as a matter of fact, they did the Dark Phoenix story twice. X-Men 3, X-Men Apocalypse. No, that was Apocalypse. That
Dark
was
Phoenix.
It wasn't the Dark. No. No. There's X-Men 1, there was X2, and there was X-Men X3, which was that was the original Dark Phoenix, where she kind of got, that's when Patrick Stewart's version of Professor X died in the movies. He was killed by her. She was kind of corrupted by Magneto. So that whole version, and then they did the Dark Phoenix saga, quote unquote, in the James McAvoy version of the X-Men, and that movie was horrible. It was terrible. So the fact that now I want to talk about this Astonishing X-Men team because it's very different. This was a run at the time. The team was made up of Cyclops and Emma Frost were co-leading the team. So Emma Frost, the White Queen, a member of the Hellfire Club, she was on the X-Men, and her and Scott were in a relationship at that time. Jean Grey had effectively died. She kind of became one with the Phoenix Force, flew herself into the sun and ended up dying, became one with the Phoenix Force, and she was gone. There was no Jean Grey at that time in the comic books. So the X-Men were being led by Cyclops and Emma Frost, but on the team were Wolverine, Beast, Kitty Pryde, and Colossus. And that was the team of this Astonishing X-Men run. So you've got some very popular characters in Wolverine and Cyclops, and you've got some other characters, and Kitty Pryde and Cyclops were in a bit of a relationship as well, but it was a really kind of interesting team. And not the characters that we're expecting. There's no Angel, there's no Iceman, there's no Marvel Girl, or Phoenix. There's none of that. So it's very different characters. And the one thing about this that's really cool is that the storyline of this run in the comics focused on a couple of things. One was an invasion of Earth by aliens.
Interesting.
So we know there's a lot of extraterrestrial stuff happening in the MCU over the next couple of years, right? With Guardians of the Galaxy, potentially Nova,
Secret Invasion.
We got all this
Secret
stuff
Wars.
that's happening that's extraterrestrial. And so for an alien race to be aware of Earth and want to invade it, these X-Men had to defend Earth from that invasion. There was a character called Ord, who was from another planet, who decided to invade. And so anyway, I won't get too much detail about that. But the other part of it is they focused on something called the mutant cure. So a doctor had developed a cure for being a mutant. And there were a lot of mutants that had mutant powers that were...
Several movies have kind of played around with that.
Logan
was one of them. Before that, there was another mutant that had serum in him that would take away your powers.
Well, right? He didn't have serum, and there is a mutant who can. His name was Leech, and he could actually remove mutant powers from you. And when you were near him, your mutant powers didn't work. But that was his power. But this concept of, hey, you're a mutant, and some mutants enjoyed their powers and liked them and thought it made them more powerful and stronger and that their powers benefited the world. But there were some mutants that thought that it was a disability. There they couldn't go out in public because they looked different.
Yeah.
Like Nightcrawler, for example. I'm blue skin with a blue tail. If you can cure this, I can actually walk around in public and be a regular person. So there was this big struggle amongst the mutant community about, should I take the cure? And like a good example is Rogue. She couldn't physically contact anybody, because if she did, she would suck their memories and potentially kill them and all this other stuff that would happen. And she's like, hey, I can finally like have a relationship and have a family and all this other stuff. And should I take the cure? So the fact that there is a cure and that they're offering it to mutants was a big deal in the comic books at the time, and something that I think they're going to be bringing to this storyline of the mutant saga of something like a cure. So anyway, I just think that basing it on this comic book run by Joss Whedon is brilliant by Marvel, because they're departing from what we've already seen in the movies thus far. We don't want to remake or rehash the same thing we've seen already done by Fox. We're going to do the same thing Fox did. We're just going to do it better. We're going to go back to the original team. We're just going to do it better. Yeah. No, we're going to take a team of characters that you mostly already know about because they've been in movies before, and we're just going to have new stories with those characters. Not
just an origin story, but they're going to bring them in sideways and develop a team already.
Yeah.
I think it's smart.
And again, I think that Marvel's been very good about that. I mean, that's the best thing they did when Tom Holland came on as Spider-Man. We didn't go through the Uncle Ben dying and
him getting bit by a radioactive spider.
Which we did in both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's version. We saw that whole thing happen. We don't need to do that. You know how Spider-Man gets his powers.
Right.
We're just going to introduce this guy.
Right.
This new actor as the character, and I think
widely popular. I think it's smart.
Yeah, it's very smart for Marvel to do that. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, it was a story that came out by Screen Geek this week. I just want to touch on that. I've got this entire run in the comics, in my collection, and I think, we can kind of draw from some of those stories as we get closer, but I thought it was great news. I just want to talk about it. I'm really excited for it. Again, we're probably 4 to 5 years out from even seeing any of this stuff.
No, I think we're going to see something in 2025. In 2025, I think we're going to see something.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that 2025.
I think that contract, when we've discussed this several times on the show, I think that contract holding Marvel's to the wire with the producers and the actors getting paid if they use those, or they have to use those actors. I think once that contract runs out, I think we're going to get a whole new band.
Look, it's possible that we could have the Secret Wars Avengers movie without the X-Men. It's possible. But it would be so much better if the X-Men were part of that storyline and we had characters and people that could be part of that story, because they were part of the Secret Wars run in the comic books, and they were integral parts of it. Wolverine was a massive part of it, and I don't want to get into spoilers about what happens with Wolverine, but he was a massive part of that storyline. So for him not to be part of it would be very disappointing.
Weird. Yeah, it'd be weird.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks, Professor. Great education, as always. Bell has rung and school is over.
All right, well, that's it for us this week. We'll be back next week for more Super Talk. To get in touch with us on social media, hit us up via email, supertalkpodcast@outlook.com, or at supertalkpod on Twitter. Until then, stay super, everyone.
And we're out. Thank you, YouTube. Please like and subscribe. In her black lady hose, Black Viper.